Think about all the people you just walk past every single day without even a second glance. The folks who just kind of fade into the background of your busy life. Well, what if I told you one of those so-called invisible people actually held the exact blueprint for success that you've been desperately searching for? Today's explainer is an absolute masterclass in mindset, and it's literally been hiding in plain sight. We're going to look at a super compelling case study of a man named Samuel. His story completely redefines what it means to be great. And spoiler alert, it has absolutely nothing to do with wealth, status, or being in the spotlight. So picture this scene from our source material. It's super early, the air is still freezing cold. It's that dead quiet pre-dawn hour before the very first coffee shop has even thought about opening its doors, way before the city buses hit the streets. Actually, before the city even truly comes alive. One man has already been out there working for hours, in the pitch dark. That man is Samuel. He isn't rushing, he isn't looking around for applause. He's just out there getting the work done before the rest of the world even opens its eyes. And the crazy thing is, when the city finally does wake up, the people rushing off to their fancy offices most likely don't even notice him. Some wouldn't even cast a glance in his direction. As the text points out, to the vast majority of society, he was completely invisible. He was quote-unquote just the street sweeper. But man, they were entirely unaware that this quiet, unassuming guy sweeping the pavement held a profoundly deep secret about success. It's a mindset so incredibly powerful that even the wealthiest and most highly educated folks often spend their entire lives missing it. Section 1. The Invisible Man. Okay, let's dive into this. For over 20 years, Samuel swept the exact same streets without a single complaint and zero expectation of praise. He anchored his entire life on this one foundational belief. Character is shown when nobody is watching. I mean, it's pretty easy to perform when the lights are on and your boss is standing there taking notes, right? But Samuel was out there in the dark. He anchored his whole being on the principle that who you are in the shadows, when there is literally zero chance of getting a pat on the back, well, that's the truest measure of your worth. Section 2. One street at a time. So enter Ethan. He's a young businessman who blew past Samuel every single morning. One day, rushed and totally stressed out, Ethan accidentally drops a folder, and papers just go flying everywhere. Samuel immediately steps right in to help. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive contrast between their internal worlds. Ethan is your classic picture of modern corporate success, yet he's completely overwhelmed by his own life. Meanwhile, Samuel, who's doing demanding manual labor, just exudes this calm, quiet confidence and utter peace. Struck by this huge difference while they were picking up the papers, Ethan finally looks at him and asks, "How are you always so peaceful?" Samuel just gave Ethan a little smile and delivered this absolute masterstroke of wisdom. Read this quote right along with me. "I clean one street at a time, not the whole city." Now, Ethan kind of laughed it off politely in the moment, but the profound weight of those words really stuck with him. You see, Samuel wasn't burdened by the sheer massive size of the city. He wasn't agonizing over the miles of pavement he couldn't even see. He was entirely present, focusing absolute excellence on just the few square feet of ground directly in front of him. Well, a few weeks later, Ethan's business totally hit a wall. Deadlines were piling up, clients were furious, and his employees were constantly at each other's throats. He was drowning. But then, Samuel's little parable echoed in his mind. Ethan actually translated that street sweeper's wisdom into a highly actionable framework to save his failing company. He stopped trying to fix the whole city at once. Instead, he isolated one problem. He fixed it. Then he moved to the next. By breaking these massive, overwhelming challenges into small, manageable steps, he slowly but surely brought his entire business back from the brink. Talk about a game changer. Section 3. The Illusion of Repetition. Now, you might be thinking doing the exact same task for 20 years would get mind-numbingly boring, right? Well, one rainy afternoon, a little girl was watching him work and innocently asked, "Don't you get tired of doing the exact same thing every day?" Samuel just leaned on his broom and told her, "I don't clean the same street every day." He explained that it's a new day, a new sunrise, bringing totally new people and entirely new opportunities to make the place better. He completely reframed his reality. He didn't view his work as some repetitive chore or a Groundhog Day loop of misery. He viewed it as a daily renewal of purpose. The street might physically be in the exact same spot, but the variables of life interacting with it made it a fresh canvas every single morning. And that daily dedication, it had very real, life-saving consequences for thousands of people. One night, a violent winter storm absolutely battered the city, covering the roads and branches and hazardous debris. Most folks obviously stayed safe and warm indoors. But well before sunrise, Samuel was out there in the freezing cold, working hour after grueling hour. When the city woke up, the roads were totally clear. Nobody threw a parade for him, but thousands of people safely reached their jobs that morning simply because one invisible man quietly did his duty in the dark.
Section 4. Motivation versus responsibility.
Eventually, Samuel's incredible consistency caught the eye of a local journalist who asked him the ultimate question: what is the secret to staying motivated for decades? He told her he actually stopped chasing motivation a long time ago. He chased responsibility instead. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clearly it maps out the fundamental difference between these two concepts. Motivation is basically a candle. It's driven by feelings, meaning it's super fleeting. It comes and goes depending on how much sleep you got or even what the weather is like outside. But responsibility, that is an anchor. It's driven by action, it's permanent. It's a duty you commit to completely regardless of your temporary emotional state. And this right here is the exact quote that made that interview go completely viral. Millions of people watched it online. It was shared across countries, across continents. Motivation changes with feelings. Responsibility changes lives. Just like that, in a flash, this unnoticed street sweeper, this invisible man, was transformed into a highly sought-after teacher. Because people suddenly realized that relying on motivation is a trap, but shouldering responsibility, that's a superpower. Section 5. Building an extraordinary legacy. So, what actually happens when an invisible man suddenly becomes globally famous? Well, despite television interviews and corporate speaking gigs, Samuel never stopped sweeping. Let's move to and see how this builds across his entire lifetime. It started with over 20 years of unnoticed, consistent effort. That built the rock-solid character required for his quiet heroism during the winter storm. That dedication directly led to the viral interview and global reach. And finally, upon his retirement, it culminated in a lasting physical legacy in the city. When someone asked him why he didn't just quit his sweeping job after getting famous, he simply said he would never be ashamed of the place that helped build his character. Wow. Years later, when Samuel finally did retire, the city wanted to honor him. They planted a small tree right beside the street he had cleaned for decades. And beneath that tree, they placed a plaque. It read, "Greatness is not found in the title you hold, it is found in the attitude you bring every single day." It literally became a landmark. People stopped to read it, left feeling totally inspired, and many completely changed the trajectory of their own lives just by absorbing that one single sentence. So the crucial point is how we actually apply Samuel's life to our own. When we distill the core takeaways here, a really clear blueprint emerges. Excellence isn't about having a glamorous job. It's about doing ordinary work in an extraordinary way. Respect is earned through quiet action, not loudly demanded. Purpose isn't something you just magically find under a rock. It is actively created by how you choose to view your daily tasks. And ultimately, success isn't just one giant viral moment. It is built one day, one choice, and one small act of excellence at a time. I want to talk directly to you right now. Maybe your work currently feels completely unnoticed. Maybe the massive effort you're putting in day after day is going totally unrecognized by your boss, your peers, or your industry. Keep showing up, keep doing your absolute best. Because the habits you're forging in these quiet, uncelebrated moments, they're shaping the exact person you will become. If you're ready to stop chasing that fleeting motivation and start embracing true duty, I want you to claim it. Say it to yourself, write it down on a sticky note, or just put it in the comments below. I choose consistency. The world might not notice your efforts immediately, but I promise you, your future certainly will. We've just seen how one man transformed his own life and the lives of millions simply by dedicating himself to the seemingly mundane task right in front of him. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to reflect on today. Take a real hard look at your daily habits, your work ethic, and your mindset. When the lights are off, when there is no applause, and when nobody is watching, what kind of street are you sweeping?